Helen Yee here with Eyes on the Game, and this weekend is UFC 222 going down at T-Mobile Arena. I'm being joined by the always beautiful Cat Zingano. Now you are fighting Ketlen Vieira, and I know it's been about a year and a half since you last stepped into the octagon at UFC 200, so how's kind of this time off been?
It's been extremely productive. You know, I never stopped training. I always was improving. Every day was still dedicated to being better than the day before. And, you know, I needed to take this time to regroup and kind of assess the situations, make some huge changes that I'm really excited about. And I'm excited. I'm excited to show you guys what I'm made of after all of this.
And can you kind of talk about or give us a hint on some of those big changes?
I mean, I fully relocated, my son and I. We were in Colorado, absolutely love Colorado, but, you know, there were some things that needed to be a closed chapter there. So we picked up just us and our dog and moved to San Diego to go train down at Alliance. And Alliance has been awesome. New coaches, new eyes, new skills to give me. And then on top of it, a ton of guys my size to train with. So that in itself was a great improvement. I mean, it's so much more realistic, you know, when you get people your size and weight. And yeah, just the drive, the sunlight, the ocean, like all of that was just
makes you happy.
Yeah, it was really it's great, and just seeing my son happy and my son okay, and having the resources of making the changes that we needed has it's just a whole new motivation. Like, I'm excited, I'm pumped, like I'm hungry, and that's what I was looking for.
And would you kind of say that this hunger or this fire in you is maybe something you haven't felt before in your career?
It's just been so heavy. You know, there's just been a lot that's gone on, and the loss to Ronda was devastating and pain, you know, and then losing to Juliana too. It was like, all right, these are happening for me to learn something, and I need to make these changes. And there, you know, it's I'm not competing to my ability. And all right, let me look at my life. Let me look at what I need to look at and learn what I need to learn, and take those steps and work towards what I can do to change things and what's in my control. And I did what I could, and so it has me here knowing and having confidence in the fact that, like, I took control of whatever I could to make everything right. So I'm here, and I'm excited, and I'm confident, and I'm motivated, and I believe that I am ready and right to come and correct the things that I needed to correct.
And what do you think about your opponent, who is currently undefeated?
I remember what it was like to be undefeated. You know, I mean, it's a dangerous opponent. It's a hungry person, and so I expect that she's gonna come out feeling real good about herself. But you know, all of those things are things I'm prepared for. She's young in this sport. She doesn't just come in and get what I have. She's gonna have to, you know, fight the hardest fight she's ever had. This isn't a cush opportunity for her, and you know, I'm really looking forward to the combination of her hunger and my hunger and seeing what turns out.
Now, do you think, like you just mentioned, you remember what it's like to be undefeated, so do you think in a way there's more pressure for her to kind of, you know, continue that streak, whereas you like you just mentioned, made a lot of new changes, and you're just looking to showcase your skills on Saturday? Yeah,
I mean, there is a bit of a pressure, and it depends what type of person she is. You know, I don't know. You know, I don't know if she's surprised to be where she is. I don't know if she's, you know, confident. I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know how she ticks. All I know is what I've done and what I'm working on, and my plan. And you know, I show up that night with everything I'm capable of doing, and my instincts on point. I'll have no problem with her.
And what do you hope to show your fans on Saturday?
Who I am again. Yeah, just crazy cat, getting in there and you know, doing the unreasonable, going crazy, having a good time. You know, when I'm having fun and when everything is right with me, it's this job is a blast. You know, and I'm just excited to show up and be me.
Yeah, and just like in the bantamweight division, the current champion, Amanda Nunes, you do hold a victory over her, and Raquel Pennington. They are fighting coming up because, like I just mentioned, you have wins over both. How do you see that fight going?
I don't really know. Raquel, the fight with Raquel was, man, she just kind of hugged me the whole time, and then, you know, it got to the point where I was over it with the stand-up. We went to the ground, and then I pounded her out. I think I choked her with one arm. And Amanda, you know, there was definitely a point where I know she wanted out. So it's hard to gauge. I feel like they're a good, even matchup for each other. And I mean, Amanda's been on a winning streak right now as champion for a bit, so you know, if she could keep that going, I would like to fight her while she's champion off of 3 or 4 wins, because I mean, that obviously gives her a lot of credit to who she is and how she's improved. You know, should Raquel win, I want that fight too, and I believe she wants it. I mean, she's mentioned it at some point that she would like the rematch, and I think her dad at some point pulled me aside at a UFC and said he would like that fight again too. So.
Oh my gosh! Like recently, or
that was a couple years ago.
Oh wow! Yeah, because I know, like I just mentioned, you guys fought in Invicta. So yeah, that'd be interesting. Either way that fight goes. But you also mentioned in the past, you know, kind of Chris Cyborg and looking at the women's featherweight division. Do you plan to move up anytime soon after this weekend?
I started fighting at I started fighting at 125 pounds, and I was the champion at that ranking for a couple years, and then 125 pounds just got to be too little for me, and so I moved up to 135, and I have my goal set to be the champion at 135. Now I meet those goals. I mean, I just come up with new goals, and I believe that that'll definitely be to want to go up to 145 and see what damage I can do there, you know. And it's all about setting goals, and then when I meet them, it's inventing new ones. So I'm just kind of going with the flow. But right now, I'm looking at this fight more than any of that future, because that can't happen should I not get this one right now, you know.
Yeah, and but looking at, you know, Chris's fight this weekend against Yana, like, do you think that she is the best female fighter right now? She's like a lot of people have said, or
I mean, yeah, she's very skilled, and she's going off of a great record right now. She's got impressive hands, and you know, she's strong, and she wins fights. As far as best female in the world right now, I mean, I feel like it's still to be written. You know, there's no one feeling to me that I just look at as just this, you know, greatest of all time, dominant, like hands down, no one could ever touch you ever. I see things in Chris's game that I think are weaknesses, and I see things that I would capitalize on. You know, there's nothing about her that's untouchable.
Yeah, and also though, but after this weekend, you know, like you just mentioned, you don't like to look ahead. But if you are victorious, you plan on maybe, you know, being in line for a 35 title fight first before.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Yeah. And has UFC mentioned anything where they're like, if you win this weekend, because you've already beaten both girls?
They have not specifically mentioned that to me, but they may or may not have kind of dangled that carrot in front of my manager, who managed to tell me. So, you know, I think it makes sense, you know, especially where Ketlen's coming from, and especially where I'm coming from as far as what we've been accomplishing lately, and that should work for everyone, I think, you know, but we'll see.